Okay, so today's lesson is themed to twists, but especially for the purpose of strengthening abdominal muscles. We often think that we need to do that by doing sit-ups or leg raises or Pilates classes. And in a yoga routine that emphasizes rotation of the spine, if we use our core muscles for that, then that's the way that we can do it in a really natural way that's motivated by the breath. Let's start with working with some core muscles in breathing. So bring yourself up to standing. This is belly breathing. So I'm going to have one hand onto my lower belly, one on my upper belly, just to bring my more attention there. And with my exhaling breath, it's punctuated. It doesn't leave much room for the inhalation either. So it's done with your mouth closed and through the nostrils, but it's almost like panting. And it's quick and energetic. And I'll do 20 cycles. And then a little break, make sure that I'm relaxed. Soft behind the knees in your stance, shoulders relaxed. And let's go again for another 20 cycles. Like that. So it's all work through the abdomen, shoulders stay passive, face stays passive, and like that. All right, let's move on to the second breathing exercise. So I like to have my hands there because then I'm working with my abdominal area instead of all my chest muscles. So let's go again for about 20 cycles like that. Excellent. Just in your relaxed stance, fold your arms so that your hands cross your chest and fit into just the armpit area. So after you've done that, then drop your elbows slightly and further breathing, feel into the top of your chest where your hands are, sort of, and into the outer shoulder blades, and take a deep breath in and fill all the way up to the sides of your upper part of your chest. And then a deep breath out, and possibly using some of those abdominal muscles just to squeeze all the air out. Deep breath in, feel the chest expand at the top, and then exhaling, the shoulders are relaxed. In breath, all the way up to the collarbones and the ends of the collarbones. And deep breath out, feel the navel move back towards the spine. You can adopt the audible breathing, Ujjayi breathing, another anchor for your attention, and a way to deepen your breath. So without the cue of your hands there, just drop your arms by your side. Keep your elbows soft, the backs of your knees relaxed. And then let's do a few more cycles like that with Ujjayi breathing. Deep breath in. Feel the shoulder blades expand. And then deep breath out, deep as you go. And the pelvic floor is still lifted. Two more cycles. Feel the potential for that being a warming breath. And let's leave it there. Speaking of warming, can get rid of this extra layer. And then let's take a lying down position on the mat. So lying on your back, your legs bent, your feet on the floor near to your buttocks. Give yourself space so that you can have your arms out to the side, out from your shoulders. And then kind of nuzzle your lower back, your sacrum into the mat. And then also, as you draw your shoulders down, feel your shoulder blades anchored there too. Then merely separate your feet a little bit. Drop your knees over to the right side. Your feet are still on the floor. Look left. And then go back and forth between those two movements, right and left. And allowing the spine to rotate and just warm up in the most gentle way. And go at your own pace. In fact, if you want to increase the pace, then go a little more quickly, or nice and slow and easy does it. And then coming into a halt where you started with your knees back up. Lift one knee towards your chest, the other knee towards your chest, without holding at the front of your knees. Then take the knees right, look left. Just a small movement. And again, in reverse to the left side, head to the right. Feel like you're rolling over the back waist area. And keep the shoulder blades pinned to the floor as much as you can, especially the opposite shoulder from the direction your knees are going. Feel where you're working, which is through that lower torso core area, and hold firm through those muscles. And then pause in center position again. Extend out your left leg along the floor, straight out. Keep your right leg bent, your knee towards your chest, and then take the knee across your body towards the left side. Look right. Come back to center. Pause there. You're only going in that one direction to the left. And then go again. So feel like your right side is resisting rolling to the left side by pressing back on that shoulder blade again. Maybe you're going a little nearer to the floor, but keep the knee high towards your left arm too. All right, last time to the left. Back to center. Release that leg to the floor, stretch it out, bend your left leg in. Take your left knee to the right side, towards your right arm. Look left. Come back to center. Feel that slight compression when you use your breath like this, exhaling and take the leg to the side. Inhale fully when you come back to center. All right, and then last one over to the right, pressing the left shoulder blade down. Back to center, 2 feet on the floor. Pause there. We're going to make a transition to come onto all fours. And when you do that as smoothly and gracefully as you can. Sometimes we forget that the transitions out of poses are part of the poses. So coming onto all fours now. All right, balancing your weight on your hands and your knees underneath your hips. Then let's do a lateral stretch. So merely slide your right hand forward. Keep that arm straight as you can. You might flex your left elbow a little bit. And then draw that right hand back in and extend out the left arm. Just go for it as far as what feels like a pleasurable movement here. Extending one arm forward and then reversing. Just feel yourself open up your side body all along the sides of your rib cage, especially down towards your waist. All right, and just one more slide. And drawing back to cat pose. Good. And then hold it there for a moment. Have your spine in neutral, but keep the core muscles engaged and draw up from the diaphragm ribs down to the pubic bone. And you don't have to cause a lot of tension there, but just more a feeling of lifting up through that part of your body. All right, we're going to do a very simple exercise here. From your kneeling position, soften your left elbow, so the left elbow is slightly flexed and you've dropped your chest somewhat. And then lift your right hand and bring it underneath your left arm towards the left side. You can come down, 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 bending that left elbow onto your shoulder and even the side of your head. So here's a lateral and rotating movement. You're looking towards the left side, towards your right hand. If you want to go to one stage farther, then take your left hand onto your left hip and roll that left shoulder back. Good, let's swap it over. Balance on your left hand again, your right hand back to cat. Soften your right elbow, start to bend that elbow. Drop your chest a little bit, slide your left arm underneath your right arm. And come down onto your shoulder, your upper arm, and the side of your head. So right hand, right hip, if you're ready for that stage, or you can stay balanced on your hand, your choice. Roll the shoulder back, roll the elbow back. Let's go one more time. So now you've done a rotation through your spinal column all the way up to your neck. And then let's repeat. And right arm to the left side, underneath the left arm, coming down onto your shoulder, coming down onto the side of your head. Left hand, left hip if you're going there, or still taking it one step further. See how it goes for you to extend that arm up, stretch it up. Good. And then let's swap for side 4, I believe this is. And left arm to the right side, all the way down, hand to hip, or arm extended up towards the ceiling. Good. So you've done some really nice work for the dorsal thoracic spine and bringing rotation into that part of the spine. Let's continue with a little bit more work there, and with the support of your bolster or a nice cushy folded blanket or just a cushion. So I'm going to use my bolster as a headrest and taking a position on my back. Now, have room for you to be able to extend your arms out from your shoulders. And I've got all of my neck supported in the back of my head. So on your back, your legs bent, feet on the floor. You're going to roll onto your left side and bring your right arm across to where your left hand is. So I'm lying on my left hip, and I've got right angles. A right angle behind my knees, a right angle at my hips. Place one hand on top of the other, and we're going to do just a small movement of raising that right arm up towards the ceiling, up and over towards the opposite side, as far as that will go, within your range of comfort and movement. And then bringing that arm back like you're closing a book. And then opening the book again and raising your arm. And what you're doing here is you're discovering something about your mobility in that shoulder movement, in a simple shoulder movement. And also, I would hope, respecting any limits that you have there. You can make the movement a little balletic, so all you have to do is keep your elbow a little bit softer. And next time that you join your hands again, pause there, relax. And then let's try another movement, which is a circular movement for your arm. So in lifting your right hand, now you could take your right arm in a big circle round back behind your head, over towards the opposite side, and bring yourself back to original position. As I was saying, as far as your own anatomy, if that feels like too strong a movement, you could keep your elbow bent and make it a small lever of your arm and a small movement in that circle. I don't really have any shoulder problems, so I'm going to make it the bigger movement, where I roll a little bit towards the upper part of my back as I bring my arm around. All right, one more circle. The head turns, the upper back turns to the opposite side, and then coming back to go where you started, home base, hands joined. All right, let's do one more. I hope these are nice movements for your shoulder and for your upper back. Let's increase the upper back movement. So this time when you raise your right arm away from your left arm, raise your right knee away from your left knee, and opening the legs like a clam and over towards the other side. You can even let the left leg come up and roll completely onto your upper part of your back. And then back to center and back to your original position. We'll do that maybe 3 times in total, 3 or 4 times. And just giving an opportunity to roll across the upper part of the back. That part of our back that's a little bit stiff sometimes, maybe a lot stiff. Make sure that your head and your neck stay supported throughout. Right? The next time that you roll to the left side, then stay to the left side. So legs bent to the left, and adjusting that right angle behind your knees and your hips, and then joining your hands, left hand on top of the right hand. And that simple movement just of raising your arm up, maybe back a little bit behind you, and then back to where you started, joining your hands. I'm going to readjust my support for my neck. So along the way, just keep the back of your neck fully supported. It's a good eye exercise, a simple eye exercise, just following the movement of your thumb. All right, and then let's change it to the circle movement. either with your arms straightish or the elbow bent, fingers resting on your shoulders. Obviously, you can circle in either direction. I think one way of circling is easier for my shoulder, though, I've discovered. All right, and then I'm ready to halt again, both hands together. And then last movement, opening the left arm the left arm to the left side, lift the left knee, roll across your back, and maybe all the way over. I'm going to bring my arm over this time to the opposite side and roll back. A roly-poly movement. See if you could do this without any sense of stiffness in your body, unfamiliar as the movement is. The next time that you roll to the left side, stay there on the left side, and then make that smooth transition, that graceful transition in coming up and sitting up. And then just removing any props there and having your free space on your mat again. Simple child's pose with your arms extended forward. Tucking your buttocks back towards your heels or keeping them a little elevated if you need more time to warm up your knees. And then let's make this a lateral twisting movement again. Lift your head, lift your elbows, and then walk your hands around towards the right side. Stepping hands all the way around towards the right side. I still have my chest up, my head up, and looking towards the both hands, that space between the hands. And then I'm going to bring my left hand on top of my right hand just to increase the lateral stretch. Press your hands down, lift your chest up. See if you can drag your belly muscles around towards the right side a little further. Good. If you find yourself tensing up, relax your neck, relax your shoulders. That's still possible. All right, take a walk to the other side, around to the left, and all the way around to the left. Good. How far can you go? And then right hand placed on top of the left hand. Pause there. Lift up your chest a little bit higher. You've got more wiggle room there. And then drag the left ribs over to the right. I just noticed something. I've just been lifting my hip in the process. So can you stretch your right hip back towards your right heel? All right, good work. And then come all the way back around, pausing in center, and take a relaxation break. Fold your hands and allow your head to rest onto your hands in child's pose. Let all effort go out of your body. It's just as important to know how and experience being able to relax as it is to work hard. All effort out of your shoulders. All right, and then begin to come out of your position into a standing position. So that smooth transition from sitting to standing and all the way up. Some of the poses that we've been working on over this last period of time in other classes have been chair poses, a really valuable pose to have in your regular repertoire of your yoga practice. So simple chair pose, Utkatasana. Bring your hands onto the space just below your hip bones at the tops of your thighs and start to take your chair pose by bending into that hip crease. So that space between the tops of your thighs and your lower torso and deepening that crease. When you got the hang of that, then leave your arms loose by your side and then gradually start to bring them forward and up. Not all the way up until the arms line up with the sides of your ears or the sides of your cheeks. And then increase your chair pose by moving your knees back slightly. As the knees move back, the buttocks move back. You might find it in you just to deepen your squat. Can you come down a little bit lower? Draw the navel back, keep the core muscles engaged. And then exhale and bring your arms back down by your side. Good. Another warming pose, isn't it? Like the breathing that we did. All right, let's take the chair pose again. Big sweep of your arms forward and up this time, moving your buttocks back. Feel where the buttock bones are, right at the bottom of your buttocks, and move back from the buttock bones towards the wall behind you. Good. So let's keep that outward stretch of the arms, the lift of the arms, and stretching them forward so that the chest feels light. Feel your feet, your legs, the lower part of your body really grounded, but the chest is still buoyant. And inhale and come up, and good work. And then take up your block. All right, we're going to come back to a version of chair pose in a moment, so don't be disappointed that we've left it at this time. But just another opportunity to open up the side body and rotate the spine. So take up your block, and in your left hand, just place the block on the high end, just at the reach of your arm out from you. And when you've got that distance, keep the heel of your left hand onto the block. You've already started a nice lengthening movement for that left side of your body. Then, looking down, your feet hip-width apart. Then flex your left elbow a little bit. Reach your right hand across to your left leg on the outside of the calf muscle. So now flex your both elbows, and you'll find that you're lengthening the torso, lengthening the left side a little bit more where the arm is extended, and then finally bring a rotation into what you're doing. So looking underneath the left arm to the left, flex that right elbow, and turn as much as you can to the left side. Your line of vision will help you the more that you look to the left. Take a couple of deeper breaths there. And then return to center. Look where you've placed your left hand onto your block. Swap hands. Right hand to the block in front of your right foot. There's a reach of your right hand forward. Lengthen along that right side. Such a beautiful opening for your rib cage, for your lungs. And then placing your left hand onto your right leg. Get a good grip there. Flex your right elbow and look right underneath, lower your head, stretch your neck down, look underneath your right arm to the right side. Flex your left elbow and pull a little bit with your left hand and turn from left to right. Good. Keep your both feet equally grounded. What can you see on that side? Let your line of vision take you a little bit more to that side. Back to center. Pull that block in. 2 hands onto the block. Flex your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale and come up. and all the way to standing. All right. One more of the chair poses with a twist. Leave your block to the side. Step your feet all the way together, legs together, feet together. Bring your hands into prayer position in front of you. Lift your elbows. Good. Flex your knees and come into that partial squat. As your hips lower down, then once more move your knees back. Move your knees back so your shin bones are more perpendicular. Do a very slight rotation to the right, to the left side. Look to the left, and then turn to the left. Keep turning to the left as deeply as you can make that movement through the lower torso. And then, if you can, in your deepening of that squat, bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Looking to the left there. Press your hands together in prayer. Lift that left elbow a little bit more. Turn your navel. Good, breathe. And then let's come all the way out and up. Hands in prayer position still. Good, lift your elbows. Let's go second side. Knees bend. Buttocks back. Knees back. Do your rotation. Look around to that right side. It's a little bit of a balancing exercise too, isn't it? And then as you come all the way down, if you can, bring that left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Hook it there. And then the right elbow lifts. Even if you haven't been able to hook the elbow there, still press your hands together and turn as much as you can from your ribs, from your navel. Good. Press your feet, come back round to center, hands in prayer, inhale and come up, and release. Good. Let your arms hang free, shake a leg, shake the other leg. Beautiful. We're going to use the wall. If you need a moment to prepare a spot at the wall, then do that. And we're going to use the yoga block too at one point or another, and practice Trikonasana, triangle pose, and then reverse triangle pose. So further to that, let's step out. So you're at your slightly greater than a meter's distance probably. You probably don't need the wall behind you for our old friend Trikonasana, but it's quite nice to work like this sometimes. So with a wall supporting you, turn your feet to the right. Right foot turns out 90 degrees. And then if you're going to use the block for this one, and it's not absolutely necessary, then have it behind your right ankle or in the space between the right ankle and the wall. You can feel it touching your shin bone. Start upright and then extend your arms out at shoulder height. Lengthen your arms. Feel into that part of the chest that we were breathing into at the beginning of the class with the breathing exercises. Inhaling into the upper side ribs, and then merely tilt to the right side, stretch out to the right side with your right arm, and then bring your right hand down onto your right leg, just beneath your shoulder or onto the top of the block. Bring your left arm up towards the ceiling. Good. Pause right there for a moment. Because I'm using the wall, I can feel my right buttock against the wall. So I'm going to switch on, use that buttock muscle and bring it forward. Right buttock is supporting by moving in towards the pelvic bones. And then my right shoulder blade is a little bit towards the wall too. So I'm going to move my right shoulder blade And I've initiated more of a twisting movement for my spine. Right, press your feet, grab your block, inhale and come up. And turn your feet to the left. When you hear me talking about my experience in the pose, I'm pointing to what I'm noticing for myself, but it's good for you to notice things about your pose too that might be even a little different experience. And then as you extend your arms out sideways, lengthen out your left arm, reach out over your left leg, stretching to the left. Left hand down beneath your left shoulder, right arm up towards the ceiling. And then I can feel that buttock needs to work a little bit more, and I'm drawing my left buttock into my body away from the wall. My left shoulder blade. And none the least stretching to the left side with a little rotation through my spine. And then inhale and come up. Take your block with you. Turn your feet forward and step into center. I'm going to keep that block handy and do a very simple movement. So I've got my backside to the wall. I'm going to step out about 1 meter's distance and then turn my right foot to the right. I've turned my right foot to the right, and I've got a gap between the wall and my right hip. How far out? Maybe 12 centimeters. Now I got space to bring my hands onto the wall, just out from my shoulders. So I've done a really simple upright rotation. And from this position, the hands open up a little bit wider, so wider than shoulder width distance, and with a little bit of pressure onto the both hands, a reminder to lift and open the chest. Good, let's go the other side. And swinging the feet around to the left, and left foot turns to the left, and then the whole body turning towards the left leg and towards the wall, and the hands onto the wall, out from your shoulders. Something that you might notice, I certainly notice it in my body, that one side rotates more easily than the other. Good. And then feel that in your core muscles. So you can sort of wring out a little bit more in rotation by using your abdominal muscles. Okay, you've done a really nice warm-up for reverse triangle pose. So take up your block again. Turn your both feet to the right. You've still got that distance out from the wall of about 12 centimeters. Place your block, let's say, in front of your big toe. We'll just see what works here. And then in your upright position, start that turn that you just did from left to right until you're facing more or less towards the wall. Your hands will help you keep the chest lifted. And then extend out the left arm, just kind of along the wall, lead with the left hand, extend out the left arm, and begin to come halfway towards the floor. Press into your right foot, soften behind your right knee, and then as you've extended as far out over the right leg as possible, bring the left hand down onto the top of the block, or onto your leg if you're not quite reaching the block. And your right hand is still on the wall with your elbow flexed. Turn into the wall as much as you can. So that rotation from left to right. Now I have the flexibility in my shoulder, and I've done enough warm-up now So I'm going to slide my right hand up the wall over my right shoulder. Hold your feet firm, your ankles firm, and bring your left side a little nearer to the wall. And then flex your right knee. You're going to release in a nice transition. Bend your right elbow, push up and away from the wall for the second side. How are we going? Well, you can't answer because I've muted you. Oh, the power of muting. All right, so second side, let's see if we can unwind a bit from that first side and keep turning towards the left leg. So you're turning from right to left. And then bring your both hands onto the wall. Use that hand position to help you lift and open your chest, and then lead with your right arm and extend it out, more or less parallel to the floor. Reach it out, reach it out. Soften behind your left knee a little bit as you reach out and then down onto the top of your block or onto your right shin bone. And then left arm, where it rests, the left hand rests against the wall. You can extend that arm up or keep it where it is, just with the elbow bent or even on your hip or your sacrum. To complete the pose, see what you can do to bring the right side of your body a little closer to the wall, the left side a little further away. Increase your twist through your core. And then we're releasing from the pose entirely, making a nice transition. Look down, flex the left knee, bend the left elbow, inhale and come up, and turn front and center, and step back in. Very good work. All right, let's take a moment for a balancing pose. So we'll leave the triangle poses, and I'm going to stay near to the wall just in case I need the wall to balance. And let's do that by having the right side facing the wall. Good. Just a little gap from the wall. Maybe you'll be entirely free standing. I don't know. Let's see how we go. So your right leg will be your weight-bearing leg, your balancing leg. And from here, lift your left heel, lift your left knee in line with your left hip. So you're going to have a right angle at the left hip, a right angle behind your left knee. Good. And then from there, bring your arms up into goalpost arms, meaning your elbows line up with your shoulders, your palms facing forward. Good. Keep balancing there, breathing, and then now bring a rotation into what you're doing and look to the left side. You look towards your left hand and turn your whole torso to the left side. Good, and you're breathing. And then facing front and center and lowering the arms and the leg, that nice transition. And left hip facing towards the wall. How do we go? A little wobbly? It's harder than it looks. It's simple, but not easy, I would say. So now your left leg is your weight-bearing leg. Raise your right knee. Get a good sense of balance first before you add the arm movement. And then when you're settled, if you stabilize, bring your arms up into that position, palms facing forward, elbows line up with your shoulders, and then turning You can look to the right, turn your head to the right, and begin to turn your shoulders and your upper part of your body to the right. If you lose it, come back into it. Be resilient. Good. Watch your breathing. All right, nice transition back to center, lowering the arms at the slow pace that you lower the leg. Good. And then shake a leg. All right, we've done well. Let's continue the theme of spine rotating and come to have a seat on your mat. Now, it's helpful sometimes to sit on a platform. So I'm going to sit on a three-fold blanket. And you might want to sit on your bolster for some twists. We're about to do some twists. So starting from Dandasana, with your legs straight out in front of you. Oh, good that I thought of that. And we're going to need a block as well. So Dandasana, that really, really simple basic pose. Legs stretched forward. And where you're seated, draw the flesh of your buttocks back a little bit and see if you can feel your sitting bones a little bit more. Always want to feel your seat to create a sense of groundedness. So there's your heels, the backs of your legs, your buttock bones. And then even here, let's do a simple rotation. Interlock your hands. Turn your palms forward. See how much you can straighten your fingers as you press forward. And then inhale your arms up. Good. So in the continuation of the yoga breathing, inhale creates the space for you to lengthen. That's obvious. And the exhalation can give you more stability. So feel your foundations when you're exhaling. Feel the lightness through your chest as you're inhaling. And then let's bring rotation into this and look around to the left side. And then let the right side of your body follow your gaze. Look all the way around, right ribs turning to the left. The outer right arm turning a little bit more to the left, the armpit. Good. And in your breathing, feeling the base again, the buttock bones, and then back to center. Lower the hands to chest height. Change the interlock and re-stretch. Nice straight knuckles as you can. Inhale up. Lengthen up. Turn to the right. Good. It's an awkward twist. If you can use your hands to help you twist, it's helpful. But now they're just kind of out of the way. So use your intelligence and turn from left ribs to the right side, back to center, and then release. Good work. Once you've got your Dandasana position again, let's use your hands and have them on the outside of your hips. Press your hands down, lift your chest up. Good, lengthen your legs. Good. And then bend your legs a little bit, slide your heels in towards you. Let's see. Let's keep the left leg straight and bend your right leg and place your right foot on the outside of your left knee. Left leg straight, right foot next to your left knee. Can you have the whole sole of the foot onto the floor? While I'm clutching at the front of my knee, I'm going to bring myself back up onto my full height and lengthening. And then left hand only, holding the front of your right knee, right hand behind you. I'm just kind of narrowly being able to reach the floor. So I'm going to use my block behind me, but you might not need it. So pulling the knee in close, lifting the chest up, and rotating. And perhaps there's one more step you can go with that, and hook your elbow, the crease of your elbow around your leg. Your biceps are strong, so you can draw that thigh closer to your ribs. And think of turning from the core muscles, kind of a squeeze of those core muscles that lets you turn a little more deeply. Good. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Keep the inhaling breath, lengthening the spine all the way up through the crown of your head. And then soften and release. And flip the legs over. Right leg is your Dandasana leg, left leg. When you bend it in, place the foot on the outside of your knee. Hold that leg in so you can retain your full height again. Good. And then hug that leg in with the crease of your elbow, if you can do this. And left hand behind you. Feel your footing on your left foot. You're pressing that down. That has a different effect than the leg just being relaxed. Press your left foot down, left thigh close to your ribs, and turning, following your line of vision all the way around. Right. And we've been doing so well with this. When you release, let's see if we can take it one stage further. So bending your legs, have your heels on the floor with the slight bent leg position. Going to bring your right leg underneath your left leg and your right foot underneath your left leg. So my heels ended up next to my left hip. Then we step the left foot across again. Left foot placed next to the outside of the right knee. Link your fingers and hold at the front of your knee bone and stretch up again. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, neatly grounded through your buttocks. Good. And then we're going to turn to the left. I meant to turn to the right, but I got myself into a knot here. Never mind. Wrap your elbow around the outside of your knee. Hug that knee in. Use your flat of your palm if you can't reach your elbow easily. Left hand behind you and sitting pretty, sitting tall. And because this is probably the last of the twists that we'll do here, we might do one more lying down twist. Then let's go for it. If you can bring your elbow to the outside of your right knee, elbow presses, levers actually against the outside of your left knee. Your palm is facing towards the left side, but then allow your head to rotate, look back. And in some ways, this is the strongest squeeze for your abdominal muscles. Feel them kind of wringing out with that effort. And then finish the pose, sitting pretty, sitting tall. Look over your right shoulder. Lift your breastplate. Beautiful. And then let's swap all that over to the other side. We're going to fold the left leg underneath the right leg. Now, something I forgot to mention on the other side, when you bring your right heel all the way around left heel all the way around towards your right buttock, make sure that your knee is pointing directly forward. That's your left knee is pointing directly forward. Step right foot across to the outside of your left knee. Hug that leg in. Draw yourself up to your best yoga height. And then let's see it bending forward if you can hook the crease of the elbow. or the elbow itself on the outside of the knee. And let's add one more adjustment. Take your right hand back a little further behind you so it lines up more with your left buttock than your right buttock. Can you do that? Can you roll your shoulder back? Good. And then intensifying the turn through those core muscles from left to right. Good. Release your shoulders a little bit. When your shoulders are more relaxed, even though it feels like you really have to count on them here, then there's a little more scope for rotation. Good. Turn your head. Look over your shoulder. Bring yourself back up fully. Lengthen on the inhalations. Good. And then let it all go. And happily letting it all go, extend out your legs. Dandasana. Legs together, feet together. Flex your toes. Bring your hands by the side of your hips. Just to come to the front of your sitting bones, with your hands by your side, push into your hands, push forward slightly. Like you're wanting to go into a forward bend, but we're not quite there. We just want to have more weight on the sitting bones. All right, and then take a lying down position on your mat. Lie on your back. You might need a little support for your neck and your head, but just try it out without first. And I thought I'd finish the sequence with just one more twist, and this is a strong one. So you can adapt it by having your legs bent for it, or go for the stronger version. Having said that, then bring your knees towards your ribs. Extend your legs up towards the ceiling. Stretch behind your knees, flex your feet. And most important, feel that you're able to anchor your shoulder blades. Even better, the bottom edges of your shoulder blades. And then looking at your feet, take your legs a little bit over to the right side, straight legs, and you're just testing the water and seeing how far you can go to the right side, but keep the left shoulder blade in contact with the floor. Look left. I've only gone several inches to the right side, and that's plenty. That's my maximum. Then back to center. And a little travel of the legs to the left side. Look to the right. And then anchor that outer shoulder blade, right shoulder blade. Don't let it come off the mat as you take the legs to the side. Let's go 2 more rounds, right? Feel your core muscles really strongly engaged here. And to the left. At any point you can do this with your legs bent, heels towards your buttocks, and that's fine. But then also this is an opportunity for you to explore with the challenge. Really the challenge is your observation and your awareness of your body. All right, I'm finishing on the left side. And then back to center. And 2 feet on the floor. Your feet near to your buttocks. Just do a little bit of a waggle. Knees to the right, knees to the left. Feel your hips very loose as you do this. And then taking pause, rest your hands onto your diaphragm ribs. Your legs are still bent. And then feel all through that area. It's a large area. from the bottom of your rib cage and your sternum all the way to the lowest part of your torso, and feel the muscles release from any effort, sort of disengage, soften. We're going to do a stretch for this area now in Setu Bandhasana, the supported bridge pose, and I'm going to use a bolster for this. So, a nice smooth and controlled transition from lying to sitting up. And let me show you my setup. So bolster, a block at the wall, in the space between the bolster and the wall. You can do this in a few ways, and the main emphasis is to stretch the frontal body. So, seated on your long cushion or your bolster, I'm going to bind my legs with the belt. It's much easier for me and probably better for my lower back to keep my legs bound together with the help of the belt, just above the knees. And also you don't have to use the effort of will to keep your legs together if you have a belt there. So I'm seated towards the back end of the bolster. And if from this position I lift my legs and bring my heels onto the block at the wall, I'm ready to take a reclining position with the support of the soft prop. So I've done this before, so I gauged my distance so that I can have my shoulders on the floor or very nearly to the floor, my head supported, and this tremendous stretch across the front of my body. Now, if you didn't get it quite right, don't settle for less. If it feels like you're not well supported, then you probably aren't. So come down from your position, reposition your bolster so that it's going to be the most supportive for you. And if you find this entirely too strong for your back, you can have your legs bent, this is without the belt obviously, and your feet on the floor on either side of the bolster. So I'm in my intention here. I don't even have to move. I'm lengthening my tailbone towards my heels and taking support from just the butt end of the bolster underneath the middle of my shoulder blades. Then the arms, like Shavasana arms, a little ways away from the side of the body. Or if you like, and I like to do it this way, my arms folded at the elbows and my hands linked overhead. So you're not necessarily committed for a long time here. At any time to suit your own body, you can bend your legs and have your feet on the floor, or legs bent and your feet up on the bolster. So in silence now, give yourself in the next minute just to releasing the weight of the body into the soft props and into the floor. Let's take another minute or two and let me give you some verbal clues to letting go. Feel at the area of the lower rib cage at the front to soften the diaphragmatic band, and soften the muscles beneath at the top of your abdomen. So more and more, instead of those ribs flaring, we want them just to sit down neatly and gently into the abdominal area, not protruding. Then also relax the area of the upper part of the chest by softening underneath the collarbones. And letting the skin and the muscles over the top ribs relax, broaden. And with your inhaling breaths, feeling you've created more space for the lungs, for the heart. And it's time for us to move on, but let's stage our exit in the kindest way to the body. So, and especially if you've got the belt on, bend your knees in towards you, slip off the belt. And wherever you are along the way, keep your legs bent and your feet on the floor or your feet up on the bolster with your legs bent. First stage. Second stage, slide your buttocks off the bolster straight forward until you can lower them down in front of the bolster. And then I like to keep my feet up on the bolster like this. It just eases any tension in the lower back. And then bring your knees up and hug your knees in and lengthen the base of your spine. The sacrum and the tailbone moving away from you. All the length you can create there. And then let's make one of those graceful transitions from lying to sitting. Roll over to your side. Help yourself up to a seated position. And sit on a blanket or a bolster, or just as I'm doing in Virasana on heels, on my heels. Bring your hands to rest onto your thighs. And drop your gaze or close your eyelids lightly. And slip into your own breath rhythm as it is at the moment. Satyabandha is one of those poses, the one that you just did, the supported bridge, that's calming for the nervous system. So give time to let that sense and feeling of the pose sink in. And then to smooth and relax your facial features a little bit more, Then bring your hands up and rub your hands together as quickly and as vigorously as you can, with vigor generating hopefully a little bit of heat. Stay with it. Want there to be almost sparks flying. And then gently rest the hands onto your eyes, eyelids, just blocking the light a little bit. Feel the warmth of your hands into the eyes, into the eyelids, even the nerves of the eyes going right back to help you relax the brain. Eyes soft, unfocused, unmoving. And then finally, probably with the eyes still closed, join your hands in front of your breastbone, really in front of your heart center. Drop your chin slightly. In that gesture, the heart is elevated. Feel your own goodwill and wholesomeness and general goodness that we generate from the yoga practice. And just send that good energy out to everyone. Namaste. Thank you.